Okay, this is part 2 of the video. We already have found the hole, the vertical asymptote, horizontal asymptote, and x-intercept. You may need to view the part 1 of this video to see those items. I have graphed the vertical asymptote of x equals 0, and now I'm graphing the horizontal of y equals 1. Sorry, it's not a little straighter. I can plot my x-intercept of -4, 0 right here. Now, I could try algebraically to find the y-intercept, but let's just think logically for a minute. The y-intercept means I'm going to be on the y-axis. Here's the x-axis, and here's the y-axis. So notice that my vertical asymptote is x equals 0, and that is the y-axis. So that vertical asymptote on the y-axis means I cannot touch the y-axis, and if I can't touch the y-axis, then that means I do not have a y-intercept. So the answer would be none. And then if I use my calculator, and I already have this guy entered into my y equals, and I've already done my graph, notice where my curves are. They fit into my asymptotes that I have drawn. And I could get some specific points by using my table feature if I needed to, but the curves are going to follow along the asymptotes. The asymptotes are creating boundaries. I can sometimes cross over that horizontal asymptote, but I'm never going to touch the vertical asymptote. So I'm just going to fit this next curve in here. I'm just sketching these. If you want to be more precise and get exact points from your calculator, that would be fabulous. All right, let's talk about domain. The domain for this guy is going to be all reals except, and now I need to leave out the points of discontinuity. So that would be the x value of the whole, -2, and my vertical asymptote of 0. So those are the x values that are going to cause me domain issues. And now my range, I'm going to say all reals except, and I'm going to leave out my horizontal asymptote, and I'm going to leave out my y-coordinate of my whole, my -1. And to be even more specific on my graph here, my whole of -2, -1, I should have put this in before I did my graph. -2, -1 is right here, and I have a hole in the graph right there. So really my curve should go through that x-intercept, hit that hole, and then go down like that. That's a much more accurate graph. And if you look in the table function of your calculator, if you notice, and I'll try to zoom in so you can see this, at -2, it does say error, so it knows you have a hole there. Now you as the calculator user really can't tell if it's a hole or if it's a vertical asymptote. You have to do your factoring and canceling to be able to tell that. And then here's my 0, that's my vertical asymptote. So there's my hole, there's my vertical asymptote. And then that's the entire problem.